Okay, so this is going to be an audit of a pest control company out of College Station in Bryan, Texas. We're going to look over their site, see what they currently have going on technical wise, maybe some things that they can improve SEO wise. Is anything broken? Is anything not being linked to? Or do we have 301 errors? Do we have 404 errors? What's going on in the sitemap? What's going on externally on their social profiles? Are they linking to the correct URL? What is their social media presence? Are they linking to their website from their social profiles? Are they linking from their social posts? And so we're going to look at this pest control company at a College Station. So first things first, when I was looking over the site, is that in your blogs, so right here in the main navigation, when I click this doesn't actually take me anywhere. This link right here is broken and not taking me to your blog's hub. The other things is that this link right here takes me to the URL slug blog-3. So let's actually click it and see what happens. So this takes me to your blog, which is great. You've got all of these blogs. Creating blog content helps a lot because it shows that you're authoritative. Not only that, what we can do is in the blog content, we can create author cards. And what author cards do is they attach this authoritative piece of content to a person. So what you can do is you take all this blog content and then you put the author as the owner of the company. Google will come by and crawl this blog content, see all of this relevant and authoritative content, and then tie that to the owner because you have that author card. Now on yours, I'm not currently seeing that. And then also, the main reason why we want to create blog content is so that we link from it to other pages that we want to rank. And what I mean by that is, so we have this pest control company and they have this article about the Zika virus, right? So from this relevant article content, because they're talking about mosquitoes, right? Mosquitoes carrying the Zika virus. We then want to link to our service that specifically addresses pest control for mosquitoes, right? We want, from this blog content, we want to have links to our mosquito services page. Now, the links that we use, we also want to match the anchor text to the keyword we're trying to target, right? So you're going to want to go and do some keyword research and figure out what people are actually searching for when they're looking for that service that you provide for mosquitoes. And then that keyword that they primarily search for is the anchor text you're going to want to use from this relevant blog article that you've created. You're going to want to link to that services page. Now, there does come a certain point when linking to that services page from your internal blog articles stops helping you rank. At that point, you're going to want to push more into getting backlinks. But when you're first starting out, you can easily get pages ranking by creating 4 to 5 relevant blog articles that are all internal linking to one source. That one source is your money page for that one specific keyword that you're trying to target for your service. On this blog, I don't see any internal linking going on at all. So it's great that you have this article, this blog, but it's really serving no purpose other than having relevant content. You really want to internal link this to a money page. So let's go look at some of your other blog content. Yeah, so again, you have links to the papers, external links to these authoritative studies, but you have no links to your own pages. So if you're trying to help rank or boost one of your service pages, one of your money pages, what you're going to want to do is on your blog content, link to it. So another thing that's occurring on your blog hub is that every time I paginate, every time I go to the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth page, you're creating a new URL slug. So what this does is, as you go and build out more and more blog content, you have these individual pages that have links to all of that blog content. You're creating a new URL. That new URL then bloats the amount of URLs you have in total. So As an extreme example, instead of just having a 35-page website, you could go to the, and a majority of those are just these pagination URLs that you're creating when we go to these the next pages to then see the other blogs that you have. What you want to do is on this page, you want to have it when they click that second page, rotate to display that content, or just have it to where it's all on one page. Having these blog hubs that then link to those individual blogs is great, but we don't want to create a whole bunch of brand new URLs for no reason, right? Also, this blog right here is a little light. I'm not sure what exactly the reason is for this. And the site is loading pretty slow each time I click a new URL. On your Google Business profile as well, you're not linking to all of your social profiles. You can link to a lot of social profiles on your Google Business profile. What this does also help is that you're linking to those profiles to show Google, hey, we are also on these social platforms. This is also more about us, right? Not only that, a real company is going to have a ton of social profiles on all the major platforms, right? You have a LinkedIn profile and a Pinterest you're linking to on your website, but you're not linking to them on your Google Business profile. So you definitely want to get those listed. If you also have a YouTube channel, you can get that in there as well. That's not good. So I search your brand name and then your area, right? And I get this little display and a whole bunch of URLs that Google has indexed on your site. And one of these is a contact-info-item-image-2. So when I come to this page, it's just this random contact page. I'm not sure what the purpose of this is, but this definitely needs to be cleaned up. This looks like this is your actual contact page, but for some reason over here, you have a stale or old contact page with this random name for it. That definitely needs to be cleaned up. So you have on your contact us page, your actual contact us page, linking to the incorrect Google Business profile. So what you want to do is search your company. You want to go to Google Maps. You want to find your listing. Then you want to go to share. Then you want to go to embed a map. And this is the code that you want to copy to embed onto your website. This is a common thing that I see across a ton of companies. Right now, for this pest control company, they're not linking to the correct Google Business profile. So make sure you go onto your site and double check that you are linking to the correct Google Business profile. So on your Facebook, you're linking to your site. The link has the correct URL format. It has the www, which is great. Let's look at your social posts. Are you linking to your site? No links there. You're not linking to your site. So when you go to post on social, what you can do is you can also get links back to your site. So let's say you get a new services page or you get a new blog page, or you just want to link to your home page. Every time you're posting on social is an opportunity to get a link back to your site. What Google is doing right now, and you've even seen the announcements of it, including Google Search Console, that you can link your social profiles so you can see the traffic or the impressions or the clicks they're getting. So we can see that not only do we want our site to be ranking, but we also, when we're posting on socials, we also want to have those optimized for SEO as well. So what you can do is include links in all your social posts. When you go and launch a new page, like a blog, like a services or a locations page, you're also going to want to link to it from all of your social profiles. When you go to link from your social profiles, what you can do is you can repurpose the same piece of content for all of them, right? You post something on one that could be repurposed across all of them. Then all of those have links back to that page or just to your home page, so that we can help rank that site for the services that you want to, right? So let's go look at your Yelp. What we're doing here is I'm just making sure that across all of these listings, these social profiles, these directories, these Yelps, that we have a correct name, address, and phone number. So on the Yelp, we've got that phone number and it matches the website. So that's great. The website URL that you have on Yelp also has the correct URL structure to the URL structure that's being served on your website. And then looking at your MapQuest as well, your phone number and the URL is great. You're also going to want to make sure and go through and check your hours on all of these listings that you have, that they're also correct. On your LinkedIn profile, you've got the correct URL, the www version of your site. You've got the correct phone number. On your profile, you have linked to your Twitter. Let's go look at this. Got a link to your site. Let's click this, see what happens. We're taken to the correct URL structure. That's awesome. That's great. Let's look at your Google Business Profile. On your Google Business Profile, you're linking to the correct URL structure. You got the www.yourdomain.com, which is great. On your profile, what you're going to want to do is in the appointment setting field or form, you're going to want to link to your site. Now, if you don't have an appointment setting software or if you don't have a appointment setting page, you can still just set this appointment link to your homepage. And this will also help as well. So let's go look at your services, see what you got going on. Okay, so it looks like you're doing a flat structure. You don't have a directory or a folder going towards your services. So what I mean by that is that you don't have services. Let's see here. Rodent control. Also, some of these have a trailing slash and some of these don't, which is interesting. So if I click on this link, I get a trailing slash. What happens if I click on this one? Do I get a trailing slash? I do. So this link right here, you're linking to a URL structure that doesn't have the trailing slash at the end of it. But when I click it, I am 301 redirect to the URL with the trailing slash on it. And so what this is doing is you're basically force feeding Google a 301 redirect, which instead what you want to do is just link to the correct URL. So just add that trailing slash. You're force feeding Google 301 redirects, which it doesn't really like, and it's going to penalize you. Now, if you just have one or two of these, it's not that big of a deal, but let's say across your site you have a couple dozen or a couple hundred of these, it slowly adds up. 1,000 cuts, right? Eventually leads to death. So also on your mosquito control, I'm being 301 redirected to the correct URL structure. So I would just go in and clean those up as well. Let's actually look at all of them. So you've got on this one as well. Am I going to be 301? I'm 301 redirect as well. So your basic pest control is redirecting me. Your mosquito control is redirecting me. Your termite and carpenter ant control is redirecting me. These other ones are great. This one, this cinch bug and grub control is redirecting. And then all of those. Okay, so we want to go and clean those up. Let's go ahead and close some of these. So what does this look like when I click this? So these services pages look awfully similar. Doesn't really look like there's much difference here. Yeah, your services pages don't look like they have so this one has 900 words of content. This one has 550 words. So I'm not sure what's going on if we're trying to rank for these specific keywords, right? If we're trying to rank for these specific services or these keywords in Google, these pages are really light on content. So it's going to be really difficult to rank them for those specific keywords when someone searches in Google for them. Now, if you're in a super low competition environment, this may be way easier to rank for those specific services. But if you just have these on here just so when someone comes to your site, they know that you offer these services, you're not necessarily trying to rank these in Google, right? Each of these services that you have, it looks like you have almost a dozen. If you're not trying to rank for those individually in search, then this does help when people come by to visit your page and see that you offer these services. But these are super light content, so these are going to be really difficult to rank for. The other thing that you want to consider is interlinking. It doesn't look like any of these are linking to each other. I'm just not really sure what the purpose of these are. Let me look at another one just to be sure. Yeah, so for like conversion rate, I would have this as an accordion to where it's closed, because this is what I see in mobile when I visit the site. I'm not really sure what the purpose is. Now I start to get to the contact information. So my first scroll, I don't really see anything. Then I see this. Then I actually see the service or the product. So I'm just not really sure what the purpose of this is. I'm not saying it's bad. I don't understand this from an outsider view, right? I would need more context from you to kind of explain to me what's occurring here or what the end goal is, and then I can make an assessment of what should be occurring. So let's clean all of these up. Also, so in your footer, you have a link to blog-2 for when I click this, I'm taken to a basically empty page. This doesn't look like it's a page for anything. It just might be like a bug or an accidentally created page. So I definitely just fix the link in your footer. Also, the URL structure is kind of confusing. A blog-2. I'm not sure what's going on, if this is meant to be something else, and maybe it's just not taking me to the correct page. But then if I go to blog-1, it takes me to a 404. If I go to just blog, what happens? So if I go to /blog, I'm redirected to blog. In your footer, this is being linked to. In your header navigation, I'm linked to blog-3. So I'm not sure if this is a migration that occurred, and now we are just wanting to 301 redirect that URL because it's a new page or what occurred on this site, right? But just from my view, I would clean this up, and I wouldn't necessarily do anything with this URL structure. It's not necessarily going to hinder you in any way. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense as someone reading it. Now, 99 times out of 100, your users or the people coming to your site are never going to read the URL structure, so it doesn't really matter from their point of view, but it's just really confusing for me. So I'd definitely clean it up. Okay, so there's that. Close that. Your About Us page. Okay. This is great. I really like seeing these. Honestly, my personal preference is that I would push these up to the front. This isn't necessarily an SEO thing. This is more of a conversion rate optimization thing, right? We want, when someone comes and visits this, we want them to immediately see that who we are, right? We're people, we're real, right? And so we want your faces to be one of the first things that they see, so they know and can see and then build that trust and that rapport immediately, right? Just from seeing your photos or your images on the page. The other thing too is that I would build up more about each individual person, right? Especially the president or the owner of the company. What you're going to want to do is build up that entity about that person, that owner, right? We can not only do this on the About page, what we can also do is build this up in the schema and start linking to knowsAbout, right? What you can do is, and I'll do it right now, is we'll look at pest control, and anything that has a Wikipedia article is something that is more than likely also going to have a knowledge graph ID by Google, and it's also going to have a Wikidata link that we can link to in our knowsAbout schema to then build up that entity about the owner, right? So Scott here for this pest control company, what we can do is in our schema under the founder or owner schema, we can start linking to his individual profiles, his social profiles. We can also start linking to these Wikipedia articles, these Wikidata articles, and we can go and grab the Google Knowledge Graph IDs, so that what we're basically doing is we are building a link graph or a knowledge graph around the owner, Scott. And then what Google does is it comes by and crawls all of that and gets all of that relevant information. Not only that, it gets the information that we're linking to, right? We're linking to Google's knowledge graph ID, and we're linking to a Wikipedia article and a Wikidata article. It then can take all of that relevant content and all that relevant information, all of that authoritative content, right? And then they can start to associate that with Scott so that we can start to build Scott up in Google. And you can also do it for your other team members. We can get some alumni of schema in there as well, right? On your About Us page, I don't know if this is just not loading correctly. I don't know if this is for me or if this occurs for everybody, but this success rate, the cockroaches existed worldwide, termites, and this as well are just all zeroed out. I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe I have to scroll for it to, nope, still not. Okay, so let me go look at here. Got a nice FAQ section. This looks good. I'm actually curious, what is this built on? WordPress? Okay, what I'm really worried about is that this is a lot of JavaScript. So let's go raw versus rendered on this real quick, because it looks like it's a lot of JavaScript. And it is a lot of JavaScript. That's not good. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with your JavaScript. I would definitely look into that. Maybe you have a WordPress plugin that's broken or something else. Okay. So that's all what I'm going to find quickly manually. Let's move into the automated audit that I had run. Oh, so on your testimonials, are these even on your homepage? So for your testimonials, I would pull way more information. And when I say that, what I mean is I would get a ton of your reviews, because what we can do is from your reviews, your review content on your Google Business Profile, people are naturally going to include keywords or LSI terms or entities relevant to the service that you provided, right? And so by doing this, what we can remove is us having to apply SEO to the page. And what I mean by that is because when people go to leave that review content, it already has a majority of the SEO that we would want to apply to the site. So when they go and talk about the bug removal, or when they go talk about the cockroach treatment, or what have you about the service, right? Because they have that in their review content, we can use that to our advantage. We don't have to go and put a whole bunch of content or text or SEO on the page. We can just literally take from the review content of your 264 reviews, right? Now, if it gets to too much content, then obviously we'd reduce it back. But what we can do is we can pick the reviews that are advantageous in the amount of entities, LSI, or entities or keywords or keyword variations that they have in them, and place them on the site. Not only that, we can display them in a way that doesn't remove the customer's experience. And what I mean by that is we can have it, instead of stacked like you have right here, we can have it to where it's a carousel, right? But only currently visible to the person on page is 3 to 5 of them, right? But in reality, there's 30, there's 50, there's more. And then they all each have their own review content. Then if someone leaves a photo review, then what we can do is also include that as well, get our image count up. On our individual images, we can then change the alt text. That alt text then can also have keywords, LSI terms, entities, keyword variations as well. And so we can put a lot of our SEO on page without having to have a skyscraper article or remove the customer's experience, because we are displaying it in a way that makes it so it's easier for them to come and view the page and see exactly what it's about. All of our SEO is hidden. It's still on page. When the Google crawler comes by to view the page and read the code and see what's on the page, it will see all the content. But because we have it hidden, like the FAQ, it's an accordion. You have to click it, and then it displays the content or the answer. Not only that, we have the review content that is hidden. They have to go through the entire carousel to see all of the other text on page, right? So that's something else you can do with your reviews. Okay, so that is all of the manual stuff that I've quickly found. Let's now move into the automated or the internal tool that I have that does audits. Okay, so WooCommerce account. So somewhere on your site, you have links to your My Account page. This is just a random URL or a random page that exists, probably because of some plugins that are creating these. It's just creating a URL bloat for no reason. These shouldn't really be visible to Google. What you ideally want to do is hide these or make it so that they're not followed or indexed with certain HTML tags, or as well, you don't want to really link to these. You want to have these hidden. So on this pest control company, they have got a My Account, a checkout, and a cart page that they're linking to. Also, on 25 of these URLs, you have the same title tag. So let's actually click all of these to confirm this. Yeah, so you have this beetle title tag on a couple of the same pages. You also have these termite title tags on a couple of the same pages. You got roof rats on a couple of the same pages. So what's happening is that a lot of these pages, I also don't know what's the purpose of this page. So you have a URL link to an image. So you basically just have this random page. There's no reason to have this. This looks like it's a WordPress issue. Something on the back end is creating these new URLs, these new pages for no reason. You also have another one. And then also because you're doing this, they have the same title tag. And this is just causing a ginormous amount of URL bloat. Okay, so this one isn't of an actual blog. This is okay. But again, the title tag is the same. Ideally, for each new URL, each page, you want a new or a unique title tag that matches what is occurring on that page. You have a roof rats page, just a random, again, another image. This looks like it has something to do with the CMS in the backend that is creating these. I don't know if this is like a plugin that has been enabled and it's creating these individually when you don't intend them to be. But then not only do you have a whole bunch of these pages that just have really no purpose, they also all have the same title tag, which isn't great. So again, we've got another one, American cockroaches. Then you have the actual blog. The blog is great. You got carpenter ants, which is great. You got ghost ants, which is great. These blog content's awesome, but again, you just have a whole bunch of these random URLs that aren't doing anything. Yeah, I'm just going to quickly go through these because there's a lot here. Okay, so you've got /blog-3/page/5/ and again, loads from this pagination. This title tag is also the same. You got another one, title tag's the same, just from all this pagination. Okay, so you get 25 URLs, and a lot of them have the majority of the same title tag, and a lot of those shouldn't exist. So in your sitemap, you have links to your cart, checkout, and my account. Again, we don't want Google to know about these. So ideally, you just don't want to link to them, and you also want to prevent Google from finding them. So on this page, it's not that one. Is it the one down here? Not that one either. Oh no, what is this? Tag-bees-2? Yeah, there's just a ton of URL bloat being created here. This seems like it's a WordPress issue. Something wasn't configured properly, and so what you have happening is that you have certain tags creating new URLs that are filtering based off of what the content of the blog is that you set on the back end, right? And so because you have all these different filters and different tags set, it's also creating new URLs that are addressable to each. And so it is just causing a whole bunch of random URLs to be created and just URL bloat for no reason. But I'm curious, where is this About Us link? So in the bottom of this page, you have a link and the anchor text is always call a professional. This link is linking me to a /about us / and I'm pretty sure it's a 404. No, so I'm being redirected to your actual About Us page. So I would just go in and not have a random 301 redirect. I would go in and fix that as well. Let's see. Where else is this occurring? Oh, so you've got this occurring multiple times where you have these triple / linking to pages and then it's a redirect to the actual page. Yeah. So your /bgreen links to the just regular /bgreen. I'm not sure why that's happening. So let's see, wrong host. You got a 404, okay. So a large group of near identical pages make up most of the site. Yeah, so you got a tag, and then you've got another tag that is filtering out the different types of blog content that you have. And so you just have these ginormous, you're just creating a whole bunch of URL bloat. There's over 60 URLs here that really just have no purpose. You're just wasting a lot of your crawl budget on these URLs. 39 of your links point to pages that do not exist. So this is linking to pest control is rodent. Pest control is, so it's not that one, or is it? It says that the number three on our list. Let's close this. So I can't click this, but you have a link on the page to a URL that doesn't exist. I think what happened is that these are capitalized. So this is also a common thing, is that people will accidentally capitalize certain letters in the URL structure, and this isn't good URL. No, it just doesn't exist. Yeah, so you just have a random link to a page that doesn't exist on this page, and you're actually linking to it from 3 different other pages. You've got another 404 error. You got 14 URLs that are 404 errors. You need a schema on the page. Yeah, you've got a lot of links that are written incorrectly. So your canonical tag, it links to the correct, your canonical tag has a / in it. And so what happens is that when Google visits that URL, what occurs is that it gets 301 redirected to the correct version without the /. So you need to go and fix your canonical tag as well. Yeah, there's a lot to go over. I'm just going to stop the audit here because there is so much so that I can move on to the next audit.